Hey, what's up, guys? It's Marf, and today I wanted to talk about immersion in mobile gaming. And first off, I mean, when you think of mobile gaming, usually the last aspect of gameplay and just gaming in general you think of is immersive gameplay or immersive gaming. And I think the most obvious reason that is because you can pull this device out of your pocket and just start playing whenever. You're not thinking about plugging in a nice pair of headphones or closing your door and just getting immersed in the game. Yet that aspect of being able to take it out wherever you want is such a powerful tool that I wanted to talk about. But before I kind of start talking about mobile gaming in specific, I wanted to mention a video by a YouTuber who I really look up to named Racevic. He made a video called Immersion is in the Mind, and he explains in that video kind of how immersion gets created by games, and he uses a couple of PC games as an example, and he explains how great visuals and performances and whatever those types of things that companies like to put into the games, while it does add to an experience, ultimately immersion is in your mind, and it comes through gameplay, and it comes through forgetting about all your outside surroundings and being able to focus on what's just in the game in the moment. And that's a very powerful tool, and I really enjoyed that video, and it got me thinking about mobile gaming in general, because if you really think about it, I mean, mobile gaming over the past couple years has shifted as far away from immersion as I could really think of. I mean, you're always constantly thinking about things like time, as we've seen with energy bars, and you're thinking about currencies, which like no one wants to think about. You're always having to think about converting different currencies and saving up and trying to save different things. And so mobile gaming has kind of been in this weird position where the goal has been less of immersing a player and trying to draw them in, and more or less having them think about rushing themselves and worrying about things like currency and energy bars and stuff like that. And I wanted to talk about mobile gaming as this tool that we've never seen before in order to immerse a player in a game, because think about it, like I said, you can take these things out of your pockets and just play whenever. And the best example that I could really think of right now would be Nova 3. I mean, you guys hear me talk about this game all the time because simply, it's just one of my favorite games, but it really has a bunch of all these, different aspects that I use as examples when I talk about how amazing mobile gaming can be. And this time I'm going to use it for immersion. Now, there is a HUD in this game, unfortunately, but, it is sort of made to look like the environment you're playing in. So an example I'll take would be Asphalt 9. I mean, all the numbers are flat and the HUD is very flat in that game, and it doesn't look like the HUD is in the game environment, whereas if you look at Nova 3, the HUD kind of moves around when you move around, and it looks like that would be an actual heads-up display on a helmet you wear as a Nova soldier, which is really immersive. And you're not thinking about things like currency, and when you're playing the game, you're only thinking about the characters, you're thinking about the story, you're thinking about the gameplay. That game is probably the most immersive mobile game I could think of. Now, of course, when I mean immersive in this aspect, I'm talking about just completely forgetting about everything else in your life or whatever, and just diving deep into this game. And you could consider a game like Candy Crush or Subway Surfers, you could consider those things to be fairly immersive as well, if you think about how for a minute or two you could just forget about everything else you're doing and just drop everything and play these little mindless games. But that's the whole thing, they're mindless. You can kind of think about other things besides the game while you're playing those games. And so I think that mobile gaming has this huge opportunity to bring this sort of full-on immersion in the mind just with you wherever you go in your pocket. And I really hope that developers kind of jump on this and look at Nova 3 as an example. And you can also look at other games. I mean, one of the most immersive games I would also talk about would be Asphalt 6. That is a very, very immersive game, in my opinion, on the mobile platform, as well as games like Nova 3. And hopefully Call of Duty Mobile turns out to be that way, especially with multiplayer. I know there isn't going to be a single player, but you can get fairly immersed in multiplayer games. In fact, in some games like Battlefield, I would argue that the multiplayer is more immersive than the single player, as you're always, on the edge of your feet the edge of your seat when you're playing multiplayer sometimes in Battlefield, like Rush, for example. I love that game mode, and in Battlefield 4, when I just crank the headphones up and I just concentrate, that is a really immersive experience. And so you don't need to have a single player experience necessarily to have an immersive game. And so hopefully I think developers will be able to understand and realize that you don't need to have a 21.5 inch monitor or a TV in order to get your game to be immersive. if Nova 3 can accomplish almost complete immersion and Asphalt can accomplish immersion, I think any game developer can make a game on mobile that that kind of solves the problem of having such a small screen, like taking advantage of audio and taking advantage of gameplay in order to immerse a player. And so I'd like to know what you guys think about this. Do you play games for immersion? Do you play games just for mindless fun or whatnot? I play games more or less for the immersion factor. I don't really like thinking about currencies and all that different things. I don't like thinking about progression and whatever. I like to be in the moment and just in the game and having fun. And initially, mobile games got me into that because I was able to do it wherever and whenever. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.